On this past Christmas, I drove Ermias to an address on 6th Avenue on the other side of Southwest Drive, just a short distance from my mother's home, to drop him off and pick up some ATV-type vehicles. Ermias was so happy, and he felt so free riding those vehicles up and down 5th Avenue. And he told me, "Mom, this feels so great. I wish that I would have done this sooner." All of the cares of the world were lifted off of him for that moment in time, and his spirit was free, like a little child's spirit, right? Ermias liked thrilling rides at amusement parks. And so I'm not really sad, because Spirit had already prepared me for that which was coming. I wish that Shell gas station would release the videotape of my interaction with the police officer when I went to the shop and he told me that the person who had been shot was Nipsey Hussle. I was in complete composure and total peace, you see, because I had been walking to my spiritual drumbeat that whole weekend. I made my green drink, I made my vegan meal, I made my herbal tea. And I even sat down with my feet up on the chair across from me, and I was talking to my cousin on the telephone. And one of the last things that I said to her is, "Belinda, the world that we live in is so wicked and evil. I feel so sad, and I'm so troubled, and it's so very tragic that our children and our grandchildren are inhabiting this type of world." And I told her, I really don't know what the answer is. I really don't know, but I think that the only way to overcome the darkness is to be a light. We have to be the light of change that we want in the world. And then shortly after that, I got off the phone and I went to get dressed and everything. I took my shower, I got dressed, and I was bending down to get the blow dryer and the curling iron out of the bottom cabinet in my bathroom, just like this. I'm standing up. I'm coming in a position of ascension, just as the telephone rang, and it was my mother calling. And when death comes our way, my mother has a certain tone of voice, and it's frightening to me because I know that tone of voice means that death has come. And my mother asked, "Angel, are you busy?" in that tone of voice. For the first time in my life, that tone of voice did not frighten me. And I told her, "Oh no, Mommy, I'm not busy. I'm on my way. I'm just standing up from picking up the blow dryer and the curling iron. I'm on my way to your house." And she says, "Well, something has happened at the shop." You see, I already felt like I was in the right place. I was ascending, okay? I have ascended, okay? You have to find a way to ascend also. And that's all I can say. I just thank you. I feel like when I was a little girl and you would read, and I just thank you. I'm honored. And I know that if Ermias can look down on us that he's very honored also. He was very humble. And I'm just glad that the legacy of love that my mother started and that she passed on to me, that I passed on to my son, and since he was in the public arena, that he passed some of the love in his heart into the love that's in your hearts. So let's water the seeds of love that Ermias displayed to you, that you know that you have planted in your heart. Let's water that love and let it grow. And what I was going to say, one last thing, and I'll let you go. I did get a little teary-eyed when I laid down about the third night after Ermias had made his transition. And I started to cry because I was thinking about, I could never be in Ermias's electromagnetic ray field. He had an aura around him that if you sat with him, it gave you power and energy. It like filled up your spiritual tank. So that when I left and went to work and whatever, I was in the world for the next week, he had left something with me. And so I'm sad. I was sad that I wouldn't have that anymore. And then I thought about, my son knows the secret to the mystery of life. How thrilling is that? How thrilling is that? He liked thrilling, fast rides, ATVs, and all that. I'm like, how do we move around when we're on the other side in the spiritual realm? I'm sure that Ermias is loving it there. I think it's like a Pirates of the Caribbean ride. It's dark, and I always wanted to get out and get the jewels out of the treasure chest. So when I think of death from the perspective of Ermias, it doesn't hurt, you see, because the ego is what hurts us. So when we can get me, I, my, and mine out of our thinking and think about, what is the other person feeling? What is the other person thinking? What is the other person experiencing? What is the situation all about in its fuller spiritual context? Then it makes the pains that we experience as human beings on the road of life that we travel a lot easier to handle.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ermias Asghedom.